Men's basketball picks up 2 conference wins.
And track travels to South Carolina.
All this and more coming up on the Penguin Rundown. Welcome into the Penguin Rundown. I'm Christina Sainovich alongside Monica Kurchin. Monica, it feels like we were just up here sitting right in these same seats last week.
I know, it was a really nice month-long break, but it flew by, and I feel like I was just here yesterday.
That's exactly how I feel. But you know who didn't get the long break that we did is some of our teams. I know basketball was really busy over the break, and I think you were able to go to some of those games, maybe even by yourself.
I did go to one game alone, but luckily enough, I'm local, so I was able to go out and support the team and just be there for the basketball teams.
Well, you know who else was in action was our track team, and I think you're going to start us off with that.
Yes. This past Friday, the track and field team sent 3 athletes to the Clemson Orange and Purple Invitational in Clemson, South Carolina. Senior Chad Zallo was the main component to the Penguins' success, winning the 60-meter hurdles with a 7.71 second preliminary and a 7.75 in the finals. This performance was good enough to earn Zallo Horizon League Men's Runner of the Week. Jalea Elliott earned second place in the 60-meter dash, although she ran the fastest time in the preliminaries, a 7.45 seconds. To cap it off, freshman Destiny Washington would run a time of 8.93 seconds in her heat of the 60-meter hurdles. You can catch the team at the Watts this Friday as they will host the YSU College Invitational. Field events will begin at 12 p.m. Visit ysusports.com for the latest information.
The men's basketball team was quite busy over break with 8 games, including the start of league play. 3 wins over Binghamton, Milwaukee, and IUPUI gave the Penguins a record of 3-5 over the break and 6-13 on the season. In the men's most recent 82-76 win over IUPUI, freshman Darius Quisenberry led the way with 22 points and 8 assists. 2 of their wins scored in double digits. The 2 sophomores, Garrett Covington with 15 and Michael Akuche with 11. This win took the team to 2-4 in the Horizon League. Up next for the Gwins is a 2-game homestand, starting off with Wright State tonight at 7 p.m., followed by Northern Kentucky on Saturday at 1 p.m. Come out to the Beagley Center and support the men's basketball team. And now we are going to start with a new segment here on Penguin Rundown, and I'm going to send it over to Dom and Chris, who have more.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Dom Joseph alongside Chris Colella, and welcome to the Roundtable. We're going to be discussing some hot topics in YSU sports. Today, we're going to start with men's basketball. Chris, it's not the season that they've wanted so far. They're 6-13 overall, 2-4 in the conference. That puts them 9th out of 10 teams in the Horizon League, and only 8 teams make the Horizon League tournament. So, to you, what needs to change going forward for this squad to get themselves back in contention?
Well, to me, most people will look at the defensive side of the ball because they say defense wins championships. Defensively, I think it's there. They are creating turnovers against their opponents. They're getting more steals than their opponents in those games. But it's what you do on the opposite end of those turnovers on the opposite side of the floor. We've seen some forced passes, either being sailed into the stands or forced pass down to the post. They're turning the ball right back over to the opposing team. Down the floor they come, layup, then all of a sudden it's a 4-point swing. You want to be able to execute as much as you can on offense and being effective. Going through the plays, making sure you're going through your screens, trying to become open. You don't want to use the entire shot clock. That's not necessarily what I'm saying here. You don't need the most perfect shot, but you want to be as effective as possible on the offensive side.
I agree. One thing that I look at is you got to look at the home slate coming up ahead here. Wright State, Northern Kentucky, Milwaukee, Green Bay, all these teams are coming into the Beagley Center, but they're 2-4 at home. That's something that needs to change. They got to be able to protect the Beagley Center. I mean, you got your home crowd behind you. The pressure should be off here. You got to go out there and just enjoy the moment. You're at home, no pressure on it. And they haven't been able to perform at that level. They're 2-4 at home. They're 6-4 when they're leading at halftime. And that should be a lot higher, especially when you've got the lead going into the locker room and you know what you've got. You've got the lead. You can make those adjustments going forward. You know what they've got. They're down. You've got that cushion. Just make those adjustments and hold on to the lead. But they just haven't been able to do that as much as they should be. I think that's one thing that needs to change.
Absolutely. You look to the in-conference games now that we're into that part of the schedule. A couple that mentioned they're also 2-4 in the conference now as well. You look at how they've done in those 4 losses. The one loss was, I believe it was a 12-point loss to Detroit Mercy, who now I believe leads the conference.
They're number 1 in the conference right now.
And that was a game that you were neck and neck with them till the very final 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And it was a 15-point loss, I believe, the other night to UIC. The other couple losses only by 6 points, 2 points. So you're right in those games. I think
absolutely.
It's a matter of not having those mental lapses and down the stretch, maybe the final 10 minutes of the second half, not coming up with empty opportunities offensively. Use every offensive chance that you can. You just don't come away with a wasted chance.
Yeah, I think one thing that's crucial, too, with these games, I mean, I know they're close, and I know it's gut-wrenching to give up those games, but you got to stick together as a team. You know, I mean, there are 6-13, but the team needs to gel. They got to stick together. They're very young. There's 17 players on the roster. 7 of them are freshmen. One of those is Darius Quisenberry, who's averaging 12.4 points a game, 77% from the free throw stripe. I mean, he's playing like a leader. And we came into this season thinking Garrett Covington and Nas Bohannon, who are both sophomores, by the way, would be the team leaders. That just goes to show how young this squad is. Covington's averaging 11.6 points per game, but he'll tell you firsthand, he thinks he can do a lot better than what he's doing. I mean, just watch his press conferences. He knows that he can do better. And I think if Garrett Covington can channel that inner self that he says he has, a lot of these teams coming up will be in a lot of trouble.
I agree with you 110%. And you look at maybe you haven't gotten the wins that you wanted potentially this season, and going after coming off of what you did last season and the second year of Coach Calhoun and the players that you've started to bring into the program. You could feel the culture changing. You could feel the coaches are buying into the players and the players are buying into the system. That's a big part of it. And you spoke a little bit about a couple minutes ago about what they've got coming up here in this last stretch of games. 7 of those 12 games that they have coming up are at home.
Yeah.
And this upcoming week, you're going against Wright State coming into Beagley Center, as well as Northern Kentucky. Wright State won the conference last year and went to the NCAA tournament, and Northern Kentucky, either last year or the previous year, went to the NIT tournament. So the 2 very tough teams that are going to challenge this young squad, and it's going to be interesting to see how they react to that.
Well, one thing is for sure, you can catch both of us at the Beagley Center this weekend watching Youngstown State men's basketball take on Wright State and Northern Kentucky. That's going to do it for us here at the Roundtable. We'll send it back over to Christina and Monica, who has more.
Thank you, Dom and Chris. Over the recent break, the women's basketball team will go 5-3. They currently sit at 12-5 and 4-2 in conference play. This past weekend, the women made the trek up to Green Bay, Wisconsin to take on the Green Bay Phoenix. Unfortunately, the Gwins fell 60-42 in a contest where they struggled to produce on the offensive side of the floor. The women only shot 26% from the field and committed 16 turnovers. A bright spot for the Gwins was senior Allison Smolinski. She recorded her first career double-double with 10 points and 11 rebounds. The women look to return to their winning ways on Friday in the first game of a 5-game homestand against Wright State. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. from the Beagley Center. Then on Sunday, they host Northern Kentucky at 1 p.m.
The coaching staff of the baseball team will be holding 2 camps on January 20th in the Watson and Trestle training site. The first camp will be a developmental hitting camp from 9 a.m. until noon for grades 5 through 12 and junior college players. Check-in is at 8:15. Following that will be a pitchers and catchers camp for players ages 12 to 21 from 1 to 4, with check-in at 12:15. The cost for each camp is $120, and registration and more information can be found at penguinsbaseballcamps.com.
In the 2018 fall semester, 55 of our very own student athletes achieved academic excellence by receiving a 4.0 as their final GPA. 276 out of 412 athletes that participated during the semester received a GPA of a 3.0 or above. Overall, 15 of YSU sports teams had a cumulative GPA of 3.14 and above. The women's basketball team achieved the highest GPA at 3.75 overall, which is the highest in school history. While in second was the volleyball team with a cumulative GPA of 3.62. Soccer was in third place with a 3.55 and women's tennis with a 3.53. Congratulations to the YSU student athletes who achieved academic excellence in the fall semester.
And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Penguin Performance of the Week this week, and we're going to send it over to Richie Giuliano, who has more.
Thanks, guys. This week's Performance of the Week is Darius Quisenberry's 22-point game against IUPUI. Let's go take a look. Quisenberry at the top of the key. That three-pointer is up and good. Now we look at another three from the right wing. That one is also nothing but net. And and with the guy in his face, makes a move, step back, and banks a three. Those 3 shots would contribute to his 4 threes on the night and a total of 22 points for him. Congratulations, Darius Quisenberry, on this week's Performance of the Week. Monica, Christina, back to you.
Thanks, Richie. That'll just about do it for us here at the Penguin Rundown. For news, highlights, and more, be sure to check out YSUsports.com and follow us on social media on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter at Penguin Rundown 1. I'm Christina Sainovich.
And I'm Monica Kurjan.
See you next Thursday, Penguin Nation.